It's 7 in the morning. The alarm blares, slicing through the last remnants of a restless sleep. I fumble for the snooze button, but the day is already demanding my attention. The room is cold, the kind of chill that seeps into your bones and makes you question every life choice that led you here. I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the faded wallpaper, wondering if today will be any different from yesterday, or the day before that. Outside, the world is painted in 50 shades of grey. It's a Tuesday, but it could be any day. The sky hangs low, heavy with the promise of drizzle, and the street is lined with identical houses, each one hiding its own quiet dramas. The air smells faintly of wet concrete and distant toast. There's a peculiar comfort in the monotony, a sense that nothing will surprise you, except perhaps how little anything changes. In the kitchen, the radio mumbles a familiar blend of bad news and forced cheer. The headlines blur together. Another scandal, another crisis, another reason to sigh. The smell of burnt toast drifts through the air, mingling with the aroma of cheap instant coffee. I watch the toaster, half hoping it will deliver something more than just breakfast. Maybe a sign, or at least a reason to smile. But all it offers is another slice of disappointment, slightly charred at the edges. This is a country clinging to tradition, even as the world moves on. My name is Barry. I'm 45, but my soul feels 92. I stare into my tea, searching for answers in the swirling steam. The mug warms my hands, a small comfort against the chill of the morning and the uncertainty of everything else. For 5 minutes, I let myself believe that the world can wait. I think about my father, who started every day the same way, and his father before him. Maybe this ritual is all that's left of certainty. A brief pause before the chaos resumes. The news is relentless. Inflation's up again. Trains are on strike again. The government is busy solving problems that seem to multiply by the hour, none of which I fully understand. I scroll through headlines on my phone, each one more depressing than the last. There's talk of energy bills, housing crises, and a cost of living that feels more like a cost of surviving. I wonder if anyone, anywhere, actually feels in control. Or if we're all just pretending, hoping no one notices the cracks. I sigh, the official British morning anthem, as my phone pings with another notification. My smart home app tells me my toast is ready and my kettle's boiled, as if I couldn't tell from the smell and the steam. I remember when you knew toast was done by the sound of the pop and the faint whiff of burning. Now, I have apps for everything: sleep, steps, reminders that I'm behind on my goals. My phone tracks my failures with clinical precision. Progress apparently means never being allowed to forget how much you're not doing. I squeeze into my work trousers, which seem to have shrunk overnight, and brace myself for the 45-minute commute to an office where I'll spend the day pretending to be productive. The sky outside is the colour of a dishcloth, and the rain has already started its slow, steady assault. At least the weather's reliably miserable. Some things never change. I grab my keys, glance at my reflection in the hallway mirror, and try to muster a smile. Well, it can't get any worse, I think. But in modern Britain, that's always a rookie mistake. Here, there's always room for things to get just a little bit worse. And yet, somehow, we carry on, tea in hand, toast in stomach, and a quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, tomorrow will be different. Just 2 streets from my front door, I'm already facing my first challenge of the day. A protest sprawled across the road, blocking my usual shortcut to work. The air is thick with the sound of chanting, the smell of coffee, and the unmistakable sense that I've stumbled into a scene equal parts political rally and street theatre. The protest signs are a glorious mess. Save the planet, ban everything, and then, right beside them, more freedom, less bans. It's as if the entire spectrum of British opinion has been squeezed onto cardboard and waved in the air, each slogan contradicting the next, but everyone's too polite to notice.
What do we want? A vaguely defined sense of fairness, someone shouts, and the crowd responds. When do we want it? At a reasonable hour. There's a kind of self-aware humour to it all, as if everyone's in on the joke that this is less about revolution and more about being seen to care, preferably before brunch. Around me, people are snapping selfies, updating their feeds, and making sure their witty placards are visible in every shot. It's activism for the Instagram age, earnest but curated. A woman thrusts a leaflet into my hand. It's not a manifesto, but a QR code linking to their merch store. Tote bags, reusable cups, and ethically sourced t-shirts. The revolution, it seems, is available in 3 sizes and ships next day. She's dressed in a designer jacket, sipping what must be the most expensive soy latte in the city. I can't help but think this isn't a protest so much as a middle-class field trip, a day out with a cause, but no real inconvenience.
I try to explain as politely as I can that I'm just trying to get to work. She looks at me as if I've missed the point entirely, her eyes wide with disbelief.
Work? But this is more important. We're fighting for your future, she insists, her voice rising above the din. There's a passion there, but also a kind of detachment from the everyday grind she's disrupting.
I look at her, trying to decide if she's genuinely concerned for my future, or just enjoying the spectacle. Then I glance over at the man dressed head to toe as a giant broccoli, waving a sign about sustainable farming. It's hard to take any of it too seriously. The future, from where I'm standing, looks loud, crowded, and a little bit absurd. A police officer stands nearby, sipping tea with the resigned patience of someone who's seen it all before, waiting for the noise to die down so life can return to normal. I spot a gap in the crowd and make my escape, just as Jamie, my neighbour, apparently a part-time revolutionary, starts chanting, "The system is broken!" at the top of her lungs. She's not entirely wrong, of course, but her solution, like so many here, seems to be to block the path of people just trying to get on with their lives. It's all noise, passion, and ultimately, a kind of performance. Everyone playing their part, but no one quite sure what the script is meant to achieve. Welcome to public discourse in 21st century Britain, where the slogans are catchy, the coffee is artisanal, and the inconvenience is always mild, at least for now. The train station is chaos. The departure board is a sea of delayed and cancelled. The announcer blames a shortage of trains at a train station.
I pay $5,000 a year for this. I could buy a rubbish car for that.
The cost is so high, you'd expect champagne and a foot massage. The platform is packed with defeated commuters, all scrolling for distraction. When a train finally arrives, it's not the right one, but we stampede aboard anyway. It's the running of the bulls, but with briefcases and passive aggression. We cram in, faces pressed to windows, enduring the daily ritual of British commuting. And it's only 8:30. I arrive at the Department for Clarity and Simplification, where nothing is clear or simple. My job? Write a leaflet about the new National Bin Colour Coordination Initiative.
Barry, we need to synergize our messaging. Paradigm shift, optimal waste stream purity.
I nod. No one knows what it means. The guidance is 78 pages. Green bin for garden waste. Unless it's Tuesday in a month with an then it's for general waste. Food waste goes in the brown caddy, except meat, which must be triple wrapped and left by the ancient oak on the third full moon. My job? Make this sound simple. I try, put your plastic bottles in the blue bin. Wrong. Needs more nuance, more footnotes.
Can we add a subclause and a link to the 200-page appendix?
I stare at the blank page. Maybe a flowchart. One that leads everywhere and nowhere. It's lunchtime in the city, and my stomach is rumbling. I set out with a simple mission: find something to eat that won't require a small loan or a second job. But as I wander through the bustling high street, the reality of modern British lunch prices hits me like a cold wind. In the window of a trendy cafe, I spot a sandwich. Just 2 limp slices of bread and a lonely sliver of ham. The price? £15. I stare at it, half expecting it to be gold-plated, or at least come with a side of life advice. But no, it's just a sandwich, and apparently, that's the going rate these days. Hoping for better luck, I duck into a coffee shop. The menu is a labyrinth of options. Single origin beans, oat milk, coconut milk, cinnamon dust, and syrups I've never heard of. It's less a place to get a drink, and more a test of your ability to decode hipster hieroglyphics. The person ahead of me orders a macchiato with a whisper of vanilla and a cloud of foam. The barista nods knowingly. The price? £7.50 for a coffee. I wonder if it comes with a free therapy session for the shock. I retreat to the supermarket, clinging to the hope of a classic meal deal. Once the saviour of the lunch hour, now it's £5 for the most uninspiring options imaginable. The glory days of a decent sandwich, snack and drink for a bargain price are long gone. The choices? Egg and cress sandwiches that look like they've seen better days, a single apple that's more bruised than fruit, and a bottle of flavoured water that tastes faintly of disappointment. Anything remotely appetising costs extra. The meal deal, once a lunchtime hero, now feels like a cruel joke, an exercise in lowering expectations. In defeat, I grab a banana, £1 for a single banana. I try not to think about how not so long ago that would have bought me a whole bunch. I find a bench outside and peel my expensive banana, glancing around at others doing the same. There's a silent camaraderie among us, everyone quietly shocked at the cost of simply eating lunch in 2024. We're all caught in this strange new economic reality, where the value of money seems to shift daily, and the price of a basic meal can leave you questioning your life choices. I finish my banana, still hungry, my wallet lighter, and my faith in affordable lunch is shaken. But at least I tell myself, I've done my part for the economy, however small and potassium-rich that part may be. Back at the office, the post-lunch slump hits, productivity vanishes, everyone escapes into their phones. I tell myself it's just a quick look. Lie. My feed Jessica from school is in Bali, doing yoga at sunrise. Hash blessed. I'm decoding bin regulations, eating overpriced fruit. I know it's all staged, but it still stings. Then comes the outrage. My uncle shares a meme accusing politicians of something terrible. No sources, just 10,000 shares. The comments are a war zone. No debate, just digital shouting. Then, cat videos. A man falling off a ladder, a potato peeled with a power drill. Why am I watching this? My brain turns to mush. An hour disappears. I've learned nothing, achieved nothing, just feel more anxious and envious. I look up. Everyone else is doing the same, blinking as if waking from a dream. We all pretend to work, waiting for the next notification to pull us back in. 5 o'clock, freedom. I step outside. The weather's changed. Now it's mizzle, not quite mist, not quite drizzle. As I walk, I pass people engaged in the national pastime talking about the weather.
Bit close, isn't it? They said it'd brighten up, but I don't see it.
They nod, bonded by meteorological disappointment. Weather talk is our social glue. Politics divides, but everyone can agree the weather's rubbish. Typical, isn't it? A phrase that means everything and nothing. At the station, Graham is back, grumbling about the forecast.
10% chance of rain? This is at least 40% mizzle.
He looks betrayed, as if the weather forecast has personally let him down. In a way, it has. The train's cancelled. Operational issues. I head to the pub instead. The pub, Britain's second parliament, where everyone's a political expert after 2 pints.
The trouble is, there's no common sense anymore.
They all nod. Common sense usually means the way things were in 1978. Golden age, conveniently remembered.
And all these politicians, they're all the same.
Heads nod again. If they're all bad, you don't have to care who you vote for. The conversation circles from politics to pint prices to football, then back to the weather. It's a comforting ritual, a national therapy session, £5 a pint. About to order another pint, the pub door swings open. All the day's characters walk in.
People just don't care about punctuality anymore. She orders a £9 craft beer. Graham storms in, face thunderous.